Today we continue with our class Halachos of Brachos. Today's class number 18. Okay, we start with Sefer Chofetz Chaim. So the big topic is listening to Lashon Hara. Today's topic, proper reaction. Based on the previous rules, it is clear that, that upon hearing Lashon Hara, one should promptly interrupt the speaker and reprimand him for his words. So don't be politically correct, don't be nice, just stop him or stop him or her. Say, I don't want to listen to this. Not interested, right? In a case when doing so would cause the speaker embarrassment, there is other are present, it is preferable that one tactfully change the subject, thus preventing the further speaking of Lashon Hara, and offer a reproof later in private. So that's very good advice, of course. So since people cannot hold one thought for a long time, it's very easy. Just ask, how is your dog? How's your mother? How's your job? And just say, by the way, like you're interested, and that's it. And they're going to change the subject, right? B'ezrat HaShem. If one finds and later on, so just say, I didn't ask about your dog just because I'm stupid. No, well, you were telling me about another lady. I asked about the dog that died 5 years ago because what you say was not appropriate. If one finds himself unable to change the subject, he should walk away. Okay, so change the subject or walk away, but you're not allowed to continue listening. While incapable of fulfilling his obligation to reproof, one must nevertheless avoid transgressing the sin of listening to Lashon Hara. Okay, you cannot stop another person, but you can, because he or she has a free will, okay, but you also have a free will whether you're going to continue listen or you're going to walk away. And the proper is to walk away. One second. I'm not sure if I press one button. Okay. If one finds uncomfortable living, at least he should try his best to ignore what is being said and use a facial expression to show disapproval. Certainly, it should not appear as though he's enjoying the conversation. So, for example, you're driving with a car, in a car with somebody, right? Or in a bus. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to walk out of the car? Probably not. So show the facial expression that you don't like whatever they're saying. You're not approve of. Continue. One must train himself to defend his values, to be more concerned with the truth than the personal pride. That's very important, right? I'm going to read one more time. One must train himself to defend his values. So if it's important to me, I'm not going to compromise it, right? To be more concerned with the truth than the personal pride, right? And if other people make the fools out of themselves, what is my problem, right? Ultimately, one will find that the less he fears scorn and derision of scoffers, the more his self-esteem will grow, and his stature will grow in the eyes of the others as well. Okay. So that's very important point for us to remember. So you stop them once, twice, and you ignore them a few times, and they're going to leave you alone. Okay, so we start here. All right, so today we continue with Shulchan Aruch, and we're on a subject of over which bread make blessings, and we stop in the middle of halacha, right? It's Siman 168 in Siv number 6. So let me read from the beginning. We're not going to comment what we said before, but just the main text. We did a lot of discussions. That's why we didn't finish this a lot. Okay, so let's see. So one more time. Over the snack bread, one should make the prior blessing, but my name is Zoinis. And after he has eaten a single blessing, which corresponds to the 3 blessing for after the meal. Okay, so one that we say on Mezonis foods, right? On wine and on the fruits of with which the land of Israel is blessed. Okay. However, if one eats an amount of the snack bread out of which other people are accustomed to make a meal, as we said, approximately it's 8 ounces today, right? Meal, then even though he's not satisfied from it, he must make over it the prior blessing hamotzi, meaning on this snack bread, and we said even cakes, even crackers, even whatever he's going to eat, right? If he's planning to eat that much, so he would go wash his hands, make hamotzi, and after it he has, and after he has eaten it, the blessing after the meal, meaning Birchas Hamazon. So on one hand, it is snack, bread, on another, or cookies on another hand. It's if person makes the whole meal out of it, so it's 100% bread. Okay, continue with new material. Same halacha, but new material. If one originally intended to eat a little snack bread, and therefore made blessing and subsequently ate the quantity of the snack bread out of which other people make a meal, he should make a blessing for after the meal or what he ate, even though he did not make the blessing hamotzi prior to eating it. Okay, so let's explain the situation, and then we go to Mishnah Berurah. So the basic law is that we have two blessings. When we enjoy anything from this world, we have two blessings, right? We have prior blessing and after blessing, right? So just because somebody did not say the prior blessing or did not say correct prior blessing, does not mean that he exempt from the after blessing. Those are two different things. So the situation the Shulchan Aruch discusses here, when a person starts eating this snack bread, or same apply to cookies, so or cake, he start eating cake, she started eating cake, right? And then and they ate a lot because the person was hungry, it was delicious, for whatever reason. A lot meaning 8 ounces approximately, right? So in this case, they would need to say Birchas Hamazon after it, even though they made the blessing on Mizoines. After meal, they say Birchas Hamazon. Okay. Mishnah Berurah. So he comments on a piece where it says that he should make the blessing for after the meal or what he ate. Okay. Since he eventually ate the full quantity out of which people make meal. So as we said, most of the people would get satiated from this 8 ounces. Okay. However, one does not need to make a blessing or hamotzi over what he ate, or over what he eats, when he changes his mind and decided to eat full amount, which is considered a meal. Since the amount ahead of him, which he wishes to eat after having changed his mind, is not enough to make a meal out of it, unless what he has already eaten is taken into account together with it. Okay. If what he still has in mind, one second, before we continue, so let's understand what Mishnah Berurah says. So Mishnah Berurah says here, so he ate this, I don't know, two pieces of cake, let's say, right? And now he said, I'm going to eat another 2 pieces, and let's say altogether it's going to be 8 ounces approximately. Okay. 8 ounces approximately. So now he doesn't, we do not require, so even though he's going to now eat 2 extra pieces of cake, we do not require him to make hamotzi blessing, because what he's going to eat, these 2 extra pieces, they do not contain 8 ounces. It's, let's say it's 4. Let's say, right? It's 4 ounces together. So that's why he just continue eating. Okay, that's what Mishnah Brura says. Even if he changed his mind and he knows that all of the four pieces of cake is going to be 8 ounces, he does not to say Hamotzi blessing. If what he still has in mind to eat is in fact sufficient for making a meal, it must then wash his hands and make the blessing al nitalas yadayim, or the washing of the hands. We're going to explain in a minute. And the blessing Hamotzi, in addition to the blessing for after the meal. So it's very interesting. So Mishnah Brura, of course, he's one of the brilliant sages that we have in the past, in recent history. Right? I think he died, if I remember correctly, in 1932 or 33. So not too long ago. Right? So Mishnah Brura says. So but if he start eating the cake, well, let's say to make it simple, let's say each piece of cake 2 ounces, right? So and he finished I don't know, a little piece, or let's say, I don't know, maybe a little more than 2 ounces, right? So now he finished a little piece. He liked it so much, says it's my favorite cake, and I'm going to eat everything. So in this case, if this everything that he's planning to eat, like after this little piece, is 8 ounces approximately. So in this case, he would need to go wash his hands, because now it became his complete meal, and he would be required to say Hamotzi on the rest, even though he said Baremi Nemizonis on the first piece that he ate, and he would need to say Bechas Hamazon as usual. Okay, so we finished that halacha. Any questions on what we said? Or we continue? Okay, so let's. Yeah, go ahead.
What about
try only on a topic, please.
What about the Hamotzi blessing? If we are not satiated at the end of the day, the grace after meal is made anyway?
Only, okay, so first of all, Hamotzi blessing, we stay on any amount. Even if you eat a few crumbs of bread, whatever is left on the table, and you decided you want to eat it, so you have to go wash your hands without blessings, of course, and you say Hamotzi, and you eat these few crumbs. So after these few crumbs, you don't say any blessing. But if you ate 1 ounce, it's like 28 grams, right? In this case, you would say Birchas Hamazon, even if you're not satiated. You understand? That's the law. So we go by the quantity. In all other blessings, we also, the after blessings, we go by the quantity. It must be at least 1 ounce, which is 28 to 30 grams. Let's say we're going to call 28 to make it like simpler, right? But the prior blessing we make on any amount. If you're going to enjoy this thing, so you must say blessing. So, for example, if you cook and you want to taste your soup, right? So you would need to say blessing on this, whatever it tastes, and unless you know that it is raw, it's inedible, so you're not going to make a blessing. Or some people they taste and they spit out. So if you're going to spit out, so you don't make a blessing, but otherwise you do. That does on a little sip. You want to taste, see if it's enough, like spices, salt and spices. You need a little sip. Anyway, you need to make a blessing because you enjoy it. Okay. So let's go and see the next CF. I'm going to read without commentary and then go back. Okay. So CF number 7. And it says, as for what is classed as a snack bread, so I mean, I said last time 5 types, remember? So we're going to explain what a snack bread is because it was not clear. right? For what is classed as snack bread, their authority who explained that it is bread in a pouch-like form, with a pouch filled with the honey or with sugar, nuts, almonds, and spice. So it sounds like with a pouch that you can put something inside. Okay. Like I would say if what would be okay. Let's continue. There are a few opinions. So let's go through all of these opinions. Okay, pouch filled with honey or with sugar. Okay, nuts, almonds, and spice. Okay, so that's Shulchan Aruch. According to them, it is what is known as riskulas real chatsu. Other authorities say that it is a bread prepared from the dough, which was mixed with honey, oil, milk, or various spices, etc. Okay. So honey, milk, oil, spices, etc. And then baked, and the taste of the fruit juice or spice, etc., mixed with the dough must be discernible in the dough for it to have the ruling of the snack bread. Okay, 1 second. Let me admit. Okay, snack bread. So, okay. So we're not going to explain now, but when we're going to go back, so I'm going to try to explain every point of it because it's very important to understand. Okay. This fruit juice, okay. So and this fruit juice, etc., mixed with the dough must be discernible in the dough for it to have a ruling of the snack bread. There are authorities who say that such a bread is classed as a proper bread unless it contains the bread a great deal of spice or honey, as in the case of the goodies known as cakes, where the honey and the spice are almost the principal part of the mixture. So I mean, in a cake you cannot mix the honey. Right? The practice the practice is in accordance with this opinion. Still, other authorities maintain that the snack bread is bread which may be spiced or unspiced, that is made in the form of a dry kevin, which chewed and is what is called biscuits. Okay, we're going to see. The halachic ruling follows all three opinions, and the laws given of the snack bread applies to all other types of bread. Just 1 second. And the law given for snack of bread applies to all these types of bread. Okay. So there are three opinions. We're going to discuss all the three opinions now. Not in order to confuse you, but because there are three different types. Okay, so let's start from the beginning, and we're going to explain, and we're going to say even how does it apply today, because we're trying to be very practical in this class, in all of the classes. Okay, from the beginning. As to what class is a snack bread, there are authorities who explain that this is bread in a pouch. It's bread in a pouch. So what does it mean? Commentary. It should be noted that Hebrew word kisanin is suggestive of the interpretation, since the Hebrew word kis means in pouch. It's kis hababi kisnin, basically. That's in Hebrew what it means. These breads. Okay, so let's see. Mishnah. Okay. So it has to be some kind of pouch, right? So meaning some kind of filling inside. It's like bread with something inside. Okay, like I would say, like maybe like a pita bread, right? But close pita bread, and they bake like this in a form. So it's not like pita bread. Maybe not. Maybe it's not a good example, because they baked pita separately and then they put stuff inside. So it's not a good example. This bread must be baked with something inside. Okay. So let's see. So okay, so the bread with a pouch. With the pouch is filled with honey or sugar. Okay, so let's see. So Mishnah Brura says there is the bread has a different ruling. This bread has a different with a pouch, right? Even though its dough was kneaded with water from the outside, like the dough of the other bread. So there is no difference in the dough. Dough is exactly the same, right? Exactly the same as the regular bread. Since the entire dough was filled with these articles. So one more time, we fill dough and bake with these things. So it could be a fish inside, could be meat inside, cheese inside. It's not limited to only whatever what Shulchan Aruch is saying here, right? All the filling is a principal part of the bread. So you, for example, if you have meat pie, right? Maybe do they call it pie? It could be a pie. Pie is always, I think it's always closed on top. Right. So this is the dough, regular dough. I mean, of course, it's they have sweeter dough, but basically, right? It's a dough made flour and water, and closed from all of the sides. Right, so it is a pouch, of course. That's what we call pouch. Okay, and okay, continue. So one more time. Okay, there is this bread has a different ruling, even though it is its dough was kneaded with water from the outset, just like the dough for other bread. Since the entire dough was filled with this article. So we care about the filling of this thing. Although the filling is a principal part, of course, if it's meat, of course, that's what person wants. He wants meat, not the dough. Principal part of the bread for the eater. It is nevertheless regarded as a grain product, since the grain's species are of the consequence, and baked dough is therefore considered secondary, and the baked dough is therefore not considered to be secondary to the filling. So we actually discussed it in early classes. So if you have dough, right, or some dough, or some baked goods, right? So they always have precedence in the making of the blessing. So if you have mixture, so you must, even though it's secondary, it's only a tiny amount, you have to make the blessing on this miscellaneous product. So here, even though there is a meat inside, or fish inside, cheese inside, whatever, so of course it costs 7 times more than this dough, right? And that's what person wants to eat. But nevertheless, we make it blessing on the dough, not on the filling. And of course, it covers the filling also. This is why, so we make only one blessing on these things. So on apple pie, for example, you do barei minei mizonos, and it covers the whole thing, apples also. This is why one must make a blessing barei minei mizonos over the bread, and will thereby discharge the obligation to make blessing with respect to all of its contents as well. So everything that inside of this apple pie or a different pie is included in this blessing. On what? On dough, not on dough, on mizonos. Okay, continue. However, if one does not eat the baked dough, does not eat the baked dough, but only the fruit itself inside it, he is then required to make the blessing which applies to the fruit. For example, the person has this apple pie, right? Apple pie, and he does not want to make. He does not want to eat the crust, right, on top of it, the dough, right? So he can break the pie and take out whatever from inside. So in this case, he would need to make only one blessing on a fruit. Okay, continue. The Taz states that if the fruit is removed from the bread, one eats and one eats only the baked dough, he must nevertheless make the blessing Borei Minei Mizonos over it, and not the blessing Hamotzi. This is because the baked dough has the ruling of snack bread, even by itself, since it was baked with the fruit fillings, and it is unusual to make a meal out of such a bread. So very interesting. Taz, it was before, I think, before the Shulchan Aruch, right? Okay, so it's very interesting. So what Taz says, so okay, for example, a person has apple pie, right? And he wants to eat only dough part. He does not care about apple. His brother likes apples, so he opens this apple pie, takes all of the apples, scrape all of the residue from this apples, put it in a separate dish, and he wants to eat only this what is it? This mizonos part. So this mizonos, even it was baked, as we said, it was flour and water. So I mean that's regular dough, right? So he would need, in other cases, he would need to make hamotzi as in a bread. So in this case, it's not bread. It's still considered to be a snack bread, right? Because that's how it was baked in the beginning. And plus, people don't eat so much of it. Don't eat so much dough from this apple pie, so they would need to say the blessing of Birchas Hamazon, because it's simply too much. They say even, and then people do not make usually do not make meal out of this kind of bread, this kind of mizonos. Okay. Continue. Actually, you know what? Let's not continue. Let me start this sentence again so we have continuation. As to what is classed as a snack bread, there are authorities who explain that it is a bread with a pouch, pouch-like form. This pouch is filled with honey or with sugar, nuts, almonds, and spice. Okay. So next Mishnah Berurah, nuts, almonds, and spice. The Shulchan Aruch means or nuts or almonds and spice. It seemed logical, right? So I mean, not all of them in one feeling. So it's going to be mizonos. No, it's Mishnah Berurah says it's this or this or this or this. It seemed logical that this opinion also required to taste of the feeling to be discernible in the dough. As the Shulchan Aruch concludes later after mentioning the second opinion. So okay. So Mishnah Berurah says, okay, and plus it's very important that the dough, since we said it's exactly the same or very close, the dough by in its taste to the dough of the regular bread. So this taste from the nuts and honey and other things must be inside of the dough. Like it has to be different taste, right? It has to be saturated with that taste, not the plain taste of the bread. Okay. So continue. So we're talking about its first opinion. So first opinion is a pouch. According to them, it is what is known as riskalas real chasu. Okay, so we finish with first opinion. Second opinion. Other authorities say that it is a bread prepared from a dough which is mixed with honey, oil, milk, or various spices, etc. Okay, so let's stop here. So at first dough, we said it was mixed with flour and water. That's it. So now they say, I'm not sure if they need water, if they do with honey. Probably if they do with honey, they need some water. But if they mix with oil, it's very, very possible. So in this case, they don't need it's miscellaneous bread, right? Or milk. So if you or various other spices or juices, right? So in this case, it becomes like a snack bread. It's not regular bread. My explanation, maybe because it's very expensive, right? To use honey or oil and the milk. Okay, 29. Okay, commentary, which was mixed. There is when it was needed. So in the first case scenario, it was needed with water. In this in the second case scenario, it is needed with all of these liquids. According to this opinion, even the flour was needed mostly with water. It is also classed as a snack bread in a view of the fact that that one also mix these ingredients with the dough and they affect the taste. So as we said, I mentioned only honey, but it could be oil. You can make the dough with oil only. There is no problem. But Mishnah Berurah says, okay, if it's not complete oil, but let's say even it's a 30% oil, 40%, 25% oil, but you can taste this oil in the dough, so it's going to go into category of this bread. And same with all the other juices, it does not have to be majority, right? At least they say at least, but it must be discernible in the dough. So here we go. We have this big discussion about miscellaneous pizza, right? Pizza. So they say miscellaneous. Why? So people would not make would not need to make the blessing hamotzi and birchas hamazon after eating. So, but as I never ate, I never tried such a thing. But everybody who ate, and I asked them, and nobody could say that they can taste like apple juice or something, right? So it's not actually hamotzi. It's just a trick. Okay. As the Rabbi Reuven always say, if stupidity would be a stock, so the price would be infinity, right? People want to make mistakes, so there is always somebody who would make them to make mistakes. Okay.
I have something.
Go ahead.
Isn't hamotzi changing to mesonot in the moment the dough have not frequent ingredients?
One would say if hamotzi can change to mesonot.
Yes, in the moment you add a strange ingredients, does it change?
Before you bake, correct? That's what.
Yes, before you bake the bread, you add.
Okay, that's what exactly what we're talking about. This change of status, it's only before you bake. So after you bake, that's it. There is no change of status.
I'm thinking this because in the Sephardic custom, I think Rabbi Ovadia say that in the moment the bread is sweet, I think it's mesonot, not hamotzi. I'm not sure. Okay, yes, it is according to their custom, it is mesonot. But if he ate a lot, as we said, that's our thing. What we going here. So if he ate 8 ounces, it becomes hamotzi according to all of the opinion. So this snack bread is able to change again to hamotzi when he ate a lot, 8 ounces. So 1 ounce is let's say 30 grams. Okay. So what is it? 240 grams, right? Whatever it is. No. Yeah. So I mean, is it a lot? I would not call it. I would not call it a lot. I mean, it's easy to eat such amount, right? Okay, so that's that's exactly Mishnah Berurah says. If the taste is discernible, so discernible means that for example, if what you're saying, maybe it was mixed with what is it? With a honey. So if it's a honey, so according to Shulchan Aruch, it does not have to be majority,
but it's discernible. So according to Sephardic tradition, according at least to Rabbi Ovadia, so that's would be mizonos. But if he ate a lot, so it's according to everybody it would change to hamotzi. But Ashkenazic tradition, so we always say if it's a little sweet, we don't concern. Even if you have like sometimes people make challah with berries, like blueberries, with dried cranberries, with other things. It's still a bread. Okay. Okay. All right. So we said that. So the taste one more time. The taste must be discernible. Okay. So and he added honey. I'm going to repeat one more time. There is honey, milk, oil, milk, and various of spices, etc. And then bake. So it must be before the baking process. So after the baking, that's it's not changing. We're going only by quantity. And then bake. And the taste of the fruit juice or spice, etc., mixed with the dough must be discernible in the dough for it to have ruling of the snack bread. So as we said, you have to feel that there is sweetness. So this pizza, what they do, or they say snack bread, I give you the example that I gave before, is when you fly, right? And when you fly in a plane and they give you this kosher meal. So in this kosher meal, there is a dinner roll. So roll is by definition is they call it dinner and they call roll. So it's already a bread, right? But but somehow they say mizonos on it. So I try, as I said before, tried it many times. I mean, we say of course we don't try the bread. We would not use it on a plane because there is no place to wash hands and okay. So we would not use it, but we'll take it with us and then eat it in a hotel or somewhere. So and its taste is 100% as a dough. So it's a biggest scam, one of the biggest scams, unfortunately, right? So it's not discernible. Shulchan Aruch said it must. Shulchan Aruch said it must be discernible. Mishnah Berurah said it must be discernible. Okay. So let's see. Since otherwise it is classed as a proper bread, how do I know? Like if I'm tasting the bread, right? How do I know it has a little honey? Maybe if I don't taste it, so it does not, right? Bread into which one put saffron to make it tasty and attractive, or into which one put a few raisins, is classed as a proper bread according to all authorities. So saffron is we actually using saffron for rice, very delicious, right? And as I say, few raisins. Of course, few is how much raisins. Of course, if a few raisins or different berries, there is no problem. It's still proper bread. Okay. Okay, continue. There are authorities who say. So I think this is the third opinion. But let's see. So far we covered two opinions. Let's summarize so we don't forget. So first opinion is a pouch. Let's say this thing is apple pie, right? Second thing is what the dough was flour was mixed. As we said, if it was mixed with all of these juices, if it was mixed with honey, oil, milk, and other things, and these other things are discernible, so they this is the second opinion that this is a snack bread. Okay, but we said there are three opinions. Continue. There are authorities who say that such a bread is classed as a proper bread unless it contains a great deal of spice or honey. Okay, so let's say there are authorities who say 31. Mishnah Berurah, there is if only mix in a little honey or milk when one kneaded the dough, the fact that one feels a taste of honey or milk does not disqualify the bread from being classed as a proper bread. So here's why Ashkenazim don't do that. It's according to this opinion. So Ashkenazim, in this case, trying to go in a stricter way, right? In stricter according, so trying to go according to all of the opinions, right? So even though some authorities, I'm not sure who are those authorities, but they say even if you add a little, right? Even a little honey, let's say, and you can taste the honey because honey is very like potent, right? You can taste it, but it's not enough. It's not a lot of honey. So in this case, they say it's a regular bread. So bread could be sweet. So that's Ashkenazi tradition. But Sephardic, as I said, even it's a little sweet. So I mean, it's a little lenient. But since Chacham was Rabbi Ovadia said, so we can rely on it. Sephardim, Ashkenazim no. Okay, continue. There are authorities who say that such a bread is classed as a proper bread, 32. Consequently, one must make the blessing chamotzi over however small amount one eats. So if it's according to this opinion, right? So if let's say it has honey, but it's discernible, but it's not a lot, what a lot we're going to discuss, right? So in this case, he eat a little crumb, has to make hamotzi. Over however small amount one eats of it, and must likewise make the blessing for after the meal, if he ate as much as the olive bulk of it, right? So olive bulk, as it's exactly was our question, right? Or we said how much we have to say the blessing. Olive bulk is 1 ounce approximately. In accordance with the ruling of the proper bread. So that's it. So it's according to this opinion, it's not a snack bread, it's a regular bread. Unless, okay, here's a but, unless it contains a great deal of spice or honey. As in a case in which a good is known as a cakes, where the honey or spice almost the principal part of the mixture. So according to this opinion, just if bread is a little sweeter, right? It's still that does not make it a cake. So they say, well, like in order for the bread be like this snack bread, right? So it must have a lot of spices, not almost like in a cake. So I mean, nobody can make mistake between the cake and the bread, right? So Mishnah Berurah says, he comments on the piece where it says great deal of spice and honey. The Rema means by this that so much spice was mixed with it that it is resulted in a taste of the spice being more discernible than the taste of the flour. So, and it is true when you eat cake, many times it's so much sugar, so much other all of the spices that you don't taste the flour. And of course you buy the flour, but this taste of other ingredients very strong. Okay. Likewise, in the case of the honey, so it's actually we're now reading Rima. I apologize, and it said so. This is opinion. I mean, it's like in insertion of the Rima. So he actually explained the second opinion. It's a second opinion. It's not third opinion. So Rima is Ashkenazi Catholic. So 1 second. So they say the Rima means by this that so much spice was mixed with it that it resulted in the taste of the spice being more discernible than the taste of the flour. Okay, so very concentrated. Likewise, in the case of the honey, oil and milk, it is required that they should be greater part of the water and the water small. So basically, okay, we say that it must be greater part. So what is the greater part? Is it 51%? Right, or it's 80 to 20%. Very good question, right? Part and water, a smaller part. If the liquid is mixed with the flour, since where this is the case, the taste is very strongly felt. Meaning that's what we must like add this ingredients of the liquids during the process of kneading. So much so that they provide the principal taste of the mixture in a consequence, and the taste of the dough is secondary, right? So they have to add so much of these liquids, right? So it's this taste of the liquids is primary, and so much so that you don't even taste the dough. And it's not true with this pizza with and other misogynists roll, as we call it, right? Similarly, in the first example given by the Shulchan Aruch, the snack bread, there is a bread prepared by the filling pouch like dough with honey, etc. It is also necessary that there be so much filling that the taste is very strongly felt because of it. So our first case, as we said, about the pouch, right? About this apple pie, right? So Mishnah Berurah says even in the first case, in the apple pie, so it must be so much filling, so the dough would be like saturated with this taste, which is I think it's always the case. I mean, it's always, but maybe there are exceptions. But okay, continue. The practice is in accordance with this opinion, meaning that it must be majority and it must be discernible. So, but with milk, I'm not sure how you can do. I'm not sure how you can discern the milk in a dough and you feel that there is actually the dough was kneaded with milk. I'm not sure. Okay, not sure how to do that. Okay. So continue. So the Rima says the practice is according actually with the first opinion, with this opinion. Commentary. For it is a customary to bake a bread with a little oil, right? We they all add this olive oil or different oil, and spice, of course, salt and I don't know whatever they add. When preparing the dual loaves of bread, or which the blessing made on Shabbos or Yom Tov. So I mean, if you buy in the store, they put a lot of sugar in there. Okay. The Achranim and plus they add eggs and other ingredients. Right? The Achranim likewise agree that the halachic rule follows the decision of the Rema. Okay. So Mishnah Berurah is very clear what to do. Okay. So now we're going to bet Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says, still other authorities maintain that the snack bread is bread which may be spiced or unspiced, that is made in the form of dry keveim, which are chewed and are like is what called biscuits. So now we're going to the third opinion. So this is the third opinion of what is considered snack bread. So let's see the commentary and we're going to explain. Mishnah Berurah. Dry keveim. So what does it mean? This is what the type of bread that is called in Arabic. In Spanish language is called bizcocho. Bizcocho, right? Biscuits. It is made from the 5 species of grain and may even be mixed with water only. Right, but when it's baked, it becomes so dry that it is brittle. It is not classed as food to be eaten to satisfy, but as a dessert food, which one nibbles, and it is not usually to eat a lot of it. Consequently, it does not have the ruling of the proper bread. So what we are talking about? So biscuits. Or we call it crackers. So dry bread, like crackers, usually people do not make the meal out of crackers, and plus they're usually very light. So to eat 8 ounces, you must eat a lot of them, right? It's which not usually the case. So in this one second. So one second. And Shulchan Aruch said that it could be spiced or unspiced, right? So it doesn't make any difference, right? So if it's dry, if it's like so, it's like crackers, very very different from bread. So here comes our matzah. So our matzah on one hand is in this category, right? So Sephardim go by this opinion, right? Like matzah is as we said, if for them they would make borei minei zonos on matzah, and only I think only two first nights of Pesach they would make hamotzi, right? Because you have to eat matzah, so for them it's bread only on 2 nights of Pesach. But Ashkenazic tradition, so they make blessing on the matzah on the bread, like they treat matzah as a bread 100% all year around, right? Because for this matzah, people do make meals. There's no problem, right? Okay, so continue. So let me check what time is it. Wow. Let me see then how long is that. Okay, let's at least start and then we stop. Okay. So let's read the CF number 8. Actually, any questions on what we said about this bread? So about these 3 types of bread, what we call snack bread.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same, but here we call it black bread. Is that mesonot?
I don't know what is it. If you send me pictures.
It's a bread made out of flour, regular flour, but it's made out of the whole grain, not just the white.
No, that doesn't make any difference. No, it's a whole grain. I mean, it's healthy. I mean, but it doesn't. It's still flour. It's still from yeah.
So still you say hamotzi?
Hamotzi, yes, hamotzi 100%. Oh, it's rye bread, right? It's not wheat. It's from rye, right? Sometimes, I mean, we don't make 100% rye bread, but I think we mix it. I mean, you can do whatever you want with it, but it's hamotzi 100%. Okay, so continue next CF number 8. Those cakes and bread called ublias, I'm not sure what language it is, maybe Aramaic, that are prepared from a stiff mixture of flour and water, are classed as a proper bread. And one must therefore make over them the blessing hamotzi and the blessing for after the meal. Okay, of course, birchas hamazon. On the other hand, one who over those that are prepared from the soft mixture of flour and water and the very thin are called niblas. One should make the blessing borei minei zonos and a single blessing which corresponds to the 3 blessings for after the meal. So in the second case, what is the thin mixture that you would make a pancakes, right? Your dough is the whole butter, right? So it's so liquidy, so you can pour out, you can pour whatever you want from this, right? So on this dough, it's never bread, right? Whatever they make, it's never bread, and you always say borei minei zonos in there, even if it was fried on, of course, on a pan. Nevertheless, if one makes a meal out of them, he's required to make over them the blessing of hamotzi. Okay, so if he eats a lot of pancakes, and pancakes actually they're very heavy. right? They're very heavy. So I'm not sure how many of them. I mean, of course, it depends on the thickness. How many of them you need to eat to make 8 ounces? Okay, but if he's planning to eat so much, he would need to make the hamotzi. If one eats them in the middle of the meal, but not the part of the meal, they require independent blessing before one eats them, but not after one has eaten them. Okay, so of course there are many commentaries, but since the time is almost over, I'm just going to give the brief overview. So now we say that when we have a bread meal, we say some things are covered, some things are not covered with blessing on the bread. So, for example, the best example would be wine. Wine is never covered with a blessing on the bread because it's very important product by itself. So on wine, we would need to make separate blessing. Okay. First, second, for example, fruits, right? Fruits as you eat as a snack, right? I mean, not apologies, not as a snack, as a dessert, like even in the middle of the meal, right? So also you would need to make separate blessing. Cakes, which you eat during the meal, or even after the meal. Well, let's say you're full, you're satiated, but you want still something sweet, and you eat this piece of cake. So according to many authorities, you say the blessing hamotzi, right? And here they say these pancakes. If he eats, so it's not usually it's not regular meal, right? So it's something extra, right? It's like they in a status of dessert. So he said in the middle of the meal, so he wants something sweet. Usually they're sweet, right? So you would need to make separate blessing called mizoines, and after you finish the meal, your birchas hamazon would cover everything. So after you finish the meal, you need to say birchas hamazon, even you ate all the extra things during the meal, which required separate blessings. However, those thin wafers, very thin wafers, okay, on which one puts confection, a secondary to confection, and therefore the blessing one made over the confection discharges the one of obligation to make blessing over them. So I'm not sure. I mean, maybe Mishnah Berurah would explain it like maybe some pastries, right? When you have the bottom, just a very thin part, and this thin part is the only this thin part we only need to keep all of the other things together. So in this case, it's secondary role. So many people, what I would say the blessing on this this mizonos part anyway. I would break a little piece, say blessing, and then they say blessing on the rest of the cake or this pastries. Okay, so let's stop here. We're going to continue this halacha next time. This was HaShem. Any questions on any topic on what we say, what we did not say? Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead.
So, Standard Rabbi 118 was say that because Hamazon is more important, the most important prayer in the entire Torah. I understood that this is even more important than the daily prayers. How it's that right or it's wrong?
Yeah, no, you got it right. Because about Birchas Hamazon, it says clearly in Torah, and you will get, and you will eat, and you get satiated, and you're going to bless HaShem your God. You understand? So it's biblical. This is the only blessing that is biblical. other blessing, what we do before the meal, as I just say, you say, you eat something extra, you drink wine, you say a blessing on the wine, you eat apple, you say the blessing on the apple. All of this is one of the mitzvahs that were added by rabbis. You understand? So all of this are rabbinical. It's rabbis added us, just to remind us, right? Only 7 mitzvahs. And one of these mitzvah is what? Is making the blessing. Another mitzvah is washing the hands before the meal. Yeah, go ahead.
So I was thinking, if that is like that, so maybe we should not avoid to making the Birkas Hamazon, but what if that bread was not intended to make Birkas Hamazon? Do we make a sin if we do a necessary Birkas Hamazon?
Exactly. So that's a good question. I want to explain this question. So for example, in order to say Birkas Hamazon, we have to eat, as we said, kizayis. Kizayis, as you said, let's say 28 grams, 30 grams, 28 or 30 grams, right? So it's not a lot. So it's basically, if you take normal bread, it's maybe half a slice. You understand? It's a small piece. You need to say Birkas Hamazon, but you cannot just decide to go with the stringency and say eat a little cake and say that it's not going to fly. So all of the things, all of the cookies, all of the cakes are out of the question. So unless you ate these 8 ounces, so you cannot go stringently. But this bread, so where you can go stringent. So this bread that they tell you. It says on the package there is a mizoines, but you take, so of course we don't trust them, right? And let's say it's a little sweet, but for you it's not sweet. So in this case, yeah, you can do mizoines and you can do Birkas Hamazon, yes. You don't have to listen to them.
What about talking about this? What about the kasait for the bread? Is less amount when we eat with something else, for example, beans or rice?
No, okay. So let me okay. So in order for all other foods to be covered with a blessing on the bread, you have to eat not only kizayis. It's not enough. But you have to eat two kizaysim. So it's like 56 grams. So this is called kibeitza. This is called egg, 1 egg. So, I mean, of course, for us, we have tiny olives and we have a little bigger egg. So for us, 2 olives would never make 1 egg. But okay, I understand what you want to ask, but that was in biblical times. And they gave us this definition. So some poskim say it's 2 olives, but some say it's 3 olives. But since it's a biblical thing, so we're trying to go stringently, and we say at least 2 olives. So if you ate only 1 olive size of bread, so it's not going to cover beans. Let's say I'm going by your example. But if you ate 2 ounces, 56 grams, so it's going to cover everything that you ate, unless it is exceptional, like wine and fruits and other desserts. You understand? So, but this fruit, these beans, your beans do not count to the amount of this bread. Bread is separate, and it must be eaten. Not only bread is separate, but it must be eaten, as we said before, in 2-3 minutes preferably. But it's small piece. It's not like huge piece. But up to 9 minutes tops. Then it would be able to cover your food. But if you did not eat these 2 ounces of bread during the 9 minutes, let's say, I mean, possible, right? So so this food is not covered, he would need to make a separate blessing on the other foods because it's not covered by the bread.
So I'm trying to understand, because the other day I was eating rice and lentils. Lentils were majority, and I was thinking, what if I eat less than a kasait of bread, and then I eat another less than a kasait bread, and then another. It always separated than more than 9 minutes. So I was asking to myself if saying or not saying the Birkas Hamazon at the end of the day.
They do not combine. So this 9 minutes, as you said, more than 9 minutes separation, these two pieces do not combine. During the 9 pieces, even during the 9 minutes, even you took this 2 ounces of bread and you split it in 17 parts, 25 parts, whatever many parts, and you eat a little pieces. Yes, that's these pieces combine. But 2 pieces that you ate with more than 9 minutes interval, they do not combine. So meaning one more time, these beans did not they were not covered by this bread.
So
if your intention was to eat less than that, so usually when you start meal, right? Let's say you wash your hands and you ate bread. So I ate a little piece. Let's say I bit a little piece, and I start eating my soup. So my soup is covered with my bread, but I did not make. I did not eat the whole kibetza, the 2 ounces of bread. I did not eat it, but soup is covered with intention, with understanding that I'm going to finish this 2 kizesim in this under the 9 minutes. You understand? So the soup is covered retroactively after I finish this these 2 ounces. So my soup is covered retroactively.
Because I'm not sure if is it a sin to avoid saying Birkas Hamazon, looking for a skill to not saying.
I mean, that's what I was explaining. I didn't draw any conclusions, but that's exactly a reason why here in the States, right? Some people would go to this only Mizoines pizza. The only reason they say the only reason they don't want to say Birchas Hamazon. That's it. So, but saying Birchas Hamazon, you said that you being grateful to HaShem. It's called in English grace after the meal. And our rabbis say, and all of you know that I'm against all of these things that what does it call them? This mazalot, all of this. I don't know. I forgot the word. But things that the good things to do, then you're going to get if you do this, right? You get some benefit. I was against it. I don't do that. Only a few of them, but one of them, I would say just say if you want to be rich, if you want to be not rich, if you want to be satiated all your life, live a good life, say Birchas Hamazon. You understand? It's the biggest blessing if you want in your life. Say Birchas Hamazon. I mean, personally, I'm trying to say Birchas Hamazon every day. So I eat minimum amount, whatever I eat other things, but at least once a day, minimum amount of bread, so I can say Birchas Hamazon. You understand? So I actually put myself in a position, so I must say Birchas Hamazon. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, because I'm thinking what is better, because in one hand you may be saying unnecessary Birkas Hamazon, or even might be a sin. On another hand,
why? Please explain why do you think that you're making a sin? Please explain.
Because I was thinking no, maybe it's better not to say unnecessary Birkas Hamazon. So I will separate.
In all other cases, you're right. For example, I ate apple, right? And whatever happened, and 15 minutes later, I don't remember. 10 minutes later, did I say after blessing or I did not say after blessing? In this case, I would say, don't do it, since the biblical prohibition of, as you said, mention Hashem's name in vain is there. So we go and it's rabbinical. We go a lenient way. So we pretend we assume that I did say and I just forgot. I do not repeat. But if person forgot whether or not he said Birchas Hamazon, guess what? He has to say it. He must say it. because it's biblical. So biblical we go stringency, with rabbinical we go leniency in case of the need, if case of the doubt, only in case of the doubt. You understand? So if you ate enough, you must say birchas hamazon. If you don't want to say birchas hamazon, so you want to eat only, I don't know, less than 30 grams, okay, there is no problem. Just go wash your hands without the blessing, and say chamotzi, eat this little piece. There is no problem. There is no sin. Understand?
I think it is last question, but it's another topic.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it a sin to have a fake profile on the internet?
I don't know. I would say that depends what the person does with his fake profile.
The context is meaning they hide their identity using alias, which is forbidden according to the rules of that social network. And then the person makes some sin, so you cannot have their identity because they use an alias. So you cannot complain to anybody about this person making some sin that may be severe.
So in our Holy Torah it says stay away from lies. So it does not say do not lie. It says stay away from lies. Don't bring you in a situation that you must lie. So if a person thinks that I have to hide myself and this and that, unless his life is in danger, right, in real danger. So okay, so then he would be allowed. But if there is no life in danger and then the person wants to do just crazy things, so of course it's not allowed. And plus, as you said yourself, so in this organization they forbid actually, right? They assume that everybody follows the rule. So it's actually stealing the mind of the people, right? So it's in a category of stealing. So they think that this person is this, but he actually different person.
Okay. I have another question, but maybe for the other week because it's for about blessing over foods.
Okay. So let's leave it for next week. So thank you very much. It was a successful week, and B'ezrat Hashem till next week. Thank you and good night.